Day 687 of the Ukrainian War Map, also known as the Russo-Ukrainian War. Juzzy here, and today is another update as I take a simplified and down-to-earth approach to some of the most important happenings on the ground in Ukraine. So starting off, we'll take a look at those Russian losses, as currently Russia sits on more than 367,000 military personnel losses, accounting for an additional 830 in the past day. Then as for their hardware losses, 12 tanks, 22 APVs, 15 artillery, and 2 air defense systems. And with lots happening on the map, let's first move to Russia today, as it still continues to freeze, literally. For instance, in this Tver Oblast town bordering the Moscow region, a video appeal was made to Putin as these home dwellers' radiators blew up and the whole block was without heating, and the entrance to their location is completely iced over. But that was just a drop in the bucket compared to the 1 million population of the city of Omsk, where half the population of the city are reportedly without electricity. And according to the regional energy minister, an accident at the substation caused the outage. And the rate at which these Russian substations are becoming inoperable right now is as if they're made out of Russian tanks or something. Then we'll head right next door to Moscow, where just east of the city, some citizens shown here are on their 4th day living in an igloo. Once again, the entrance is completely iced over. All of the standpipes are frozen. It's 5 degrees Celsius in the apartments. Administration reps of the management company are apparently tired of coming to the building to not fix the issue, and everyone who could leave has self-evacuated. So once again, in this location, just like many others now, they really need to replace the broken pipes and radiators. And it's not just a quick flush out to resolve, because there's the replacing for the frozen and cracked water pipes, the sewerage, the heating. What a nightmare. Oh, and apart from heating, you're going to be dealing with mold and rotten electrical cables and other various infrastructure inside the walls. Plus, it probably won't even be fixed until the summer months start rolling around. So I bet those roasted squirrels being served up in heated UK restaurants right now are looking pretty good. And FYI, that roasted squirrel thing was a Russian narrative that they imposed on the UK. Then also, there's been Moscow protesters with their cardboard signs demanding the fixing of their completely broken heating systems. No surprises there. Plus, once again, other Muscovites were seen outside their apartments at night with makeshift bonfires to keep themselves warm. So these growing heating and power outages seem to be indicating a systemically flawed issue with Russian infrastructure restoration capabilities. So it would actually seem that Russia is dealing with maintenance shortages, manpower shortages, equipment and repair shortages, funding shortages, and anything else to properly assist their own citizenry. And I'd even speculate that the slow grind that is economic sanctions that have been placed on Russia is taking its toll on Russian electrical and heating infrastructure that could have been relying on foreign technology imports for boilers, pumps, control systems, turbines, and even pipes to keep their society running. I mean, hey, since we've found out that Russia's military and military contractors made the idiotic decision to rely 99% on Western components for its drones and missiles found in the field, it's likely that Russia has relied predominantly on the West for so many other technological aspects of its society as well. But hey, it's not just civilians affected, as take for example the Milarovo airfield in Russia. As a popular Telegram channel that is closely linked with the Russian Air Force made an appeal to the public requesting firewood for the pilots operating out of there. What is going on with you, Russia? Then, in more trouble for the Russian Air Force, over 600 kilometers away from the front lines, as Ukrainian drones allegedly hit Engels Air Base in the Saratov Oblast. Now, the Russian MOD stated all drones were shot down over the airfield with no damage reported, although the Russian MOD isn't the most trustworthy of sources, as time and time again they've made statements about things that were blown up and obliterated back to the Stone Age and labelled them as just slightly damaged. Then we'll head across to the Ukrainian map today, as just north of Sinkivka in the Kharkiv Oblast, so we'll load up there. Ukrainian drones continue to operate behind Russian lines, deploying their drone-dropped munitions and wreaking havoc on unsuspecting Russian forces. Then also note, for this region, Ukrainian Minister of Defense Umarov and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces Zhulizny visited Ukrainian troops near Kupiansk in the last couple of days, where they met with local commanders and formulated future military plans for the region. Umarov stated from the visit that the ground forces reported on the situation and their current challenges, and he also said that decisions will be made in the near future and the enemy, quote, will not like it. Then we'll head down the map and we'll move to the north of Avdiivka into Stepova, where we saw a modernized Russian T-72 tank that was beyond the tree line, so this one just beyond here, facing the Ukrainian side, which ended up suffering a catastrophic ammunition detonation after a hit by a Ukrainian FPV drone strike. Although at this time of year, it's not really much of a tree line, is it? But the thing that interests me the most in this region right now is the updated Russian narrative for this location, which in classic Russian style borrows from or steals from the Ukrainian ground situation, as Russia now claims they've been using Avdiivka as a meat grinder for Ukraine. Never mind the verifiable fact that Russia sent in meat wave after meat wave here, without capturing the town. But on top of that, Russians even now question the need to even take the town. So that would be the cool way of acting like you don't want something when you know that you really can't have it. Then moving down further on the map, as Russian forces have continued their efforts to enter Horivka. So we'll zoom in right here for this one, and although it's not yet updated here on this map, Russian forces have pushed from here to about here, so 178 meters, about 200 meters / yards, let's say. Although it is an operationally challenging environment for invading forces here who are stationed in the town of Marinka that is completely laid to waste these days. There probably isn't a town that's more so. Then moving a bit further down again, as in Novomikhailivka. So geolocated footage showed that Russian troops entered or re-entered the forest or ledge area west of the main road access point into the settlement, although the city itself remains unbreached. Which means, given these updates, I'm fairly certain we'll see some AFU drone footage or probably some Russian light armor going up in flames due to this latest update. But all in all, it would appear that Russia is giving these two areas, so Novomikhailivka and just beyond Marinka, a red hot go these days. Then, somewhere in the south or southeast, there was some sort of sabotage event on a Russian tanker train. As you can see here in the footage, this guy points it out. Then also in the south, so in near to a location called Stepne, as units of the 73rd Marine Special Operations Center destroyed a Russian Mr. S self-propelled howitzer and a Tornado G MLRS system. Then moving just briefly across to Zaporizhia again, as explosions were once again reported in Berdyansk, with Russian air defenses activated. Now, Russian Telegram channels reported UAV activity in this instance, so unlikely to be a storm shadow, which isn't really needed as much at this location anymore. Then we'll head next door to the Kherson Oblast, as top Russian mill blogger Rybar shows up for a bit of doom posting, confirming Russian failures and venting frustration over Ukraine's Dnipro River bridgehead at Krinky. So he stated that Ukrainian drone swarms, combined with the lack of availability of electronic warfare systems for Russian forces, are creating a bit of a problem for them right now. Rybar also complained about the lack of artillery for Russian forces and also that Ukrainian aircraft brazenly fly over Krinky, as he specified that Ukrainian planes and helicopters are firing a combination of guided and unguided missiles into rear positions of the Russian forces. But in the end, for these various failures or experiences, he chalks it up to Russia's Southern Command not helping the situation or providing the needed material to stop the AFU presence in the south. Then we'll head across to some news for today. So starting off, the EU has made an updated announcement stating that it can still meet its target for producing 1 million artillery shells for delivery to Ukraine by springtime. So far, the initiative has yielded about 300,000 shells, as ramping up shell production has been quite a slow and grinding process. Although once we see the AFU frontliners swimming in shells, it's going to make a significant difference to frontline positions when used in combination with drones. Then moving across to some Russian hardware news, as the Russian military has stated that their latest air-launched and precision-guided accuracy munitions, the DREL, expects to see operation in Ukraine in 2024. Now, these weapons also have similarities in terms of basic specs to that of the Russian air-launched Fab 500s with their glide kits, both of which have the same 500 kilogram payload, also both air-launched. Although there is oddly the case that these newer DRELs, which have arguably been in development since 2016 because there has never been any evidence of them being used anywhere ever, is that they have an expected range of about 30 to 50 kilometers, and that's when launched at an altitude of up to 14 kilometers. Which means not only do they have a potentially shorter range than their glide kit cousins, but if they do actually come in 2024, then Patriot air defense systems and particularly F-16s are going to have a field day with whichever Russian aircraft that chooses to cozy up to the front lines and deploy these things. Then moving across to some other news. So Russia successfully strengthens its leadership in the number of sanctions imposed on a country, continuing to update world records. Because with data from the most recent month to December 23, Russia is actually pretty well doubling the next 6 most sanctioned countries in the world combined. In fact, they've even outpaced themselves to a factor of about 3 in the past 18 months or so. So finally, Russia is the best at something. Then moving across to a couple of rapid fire funnies to round it all off with. So the first one, the Makarov Pacific Higher Naval School located in Vladivostok, Russia, which is a prestigious naval academy in the Russian Navy, teaches naval courses by way of playing World of Warships, the game, to ready these future sailors in protecting Russia and defending themselves at sea. So this is probably why the Russian Black Sea Fleet is in the shape it's in today. Then as for the quick final funny, so Andrei Bogdanov, one of the candidates for the upcoming 2024 Russian presidential election, when asked if he was planning to win during an interview, he literally said, "Of course not. Do I look like an idiot?" I like this guy already. I'd vote for him. What an honest little champ. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks again for watching. Please continue to like and comment, and I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one. Cheers.